Yesterday I recorded a video behind the scenes where I showed how we continuously do the good deeds with Sayadaw Tamasara, our teacher in Thabarwa Center. We finished the practice of... Actually, I can attach this video here and then I don't need to retell now. But now I received a question from my Russian-speaking group about the detachment from sleeping that I mentioned in that video. So I was explaining there, and I decided to share this information to everyone, to the English-speaking audience, and then I will do for the French one too, to tell that we don't sleep intentionally. She asked if we what it means, detachment from sleeping, if we don't sleep intentionally, forcefully. And this is exactly what Sayadaw teaches us, not to do anything forcefully. We just continue doing what we can do. We come out of our limits. We finished here, it was already midnight, and then we started a Zoom meeting just because it was planned, and nobody does it in the way that we should preserve the sleeping time for Sayadaw here in America so that all Vietnamese should adapt there in Asia and Sayadaw should rest. No, he detaches. If there is something that he can do, he would be doing it, detaching from sleeping. We don't work with a schedule. We are not doing in limits. We are doing out of limits. When we reach the limits of our comfort zone, then we continue doing, because in this way we free ourselves from me, I, mine. We free ourselves from the concept of self, and we liberate ourselves from suffering. This is what often is missed out on the path of those practitioners who stick to only Pali Canon, reading suttas and practicing whatever they understand from suttas. They don't bring the practice into their life, and they miss on that part. Because actually what we can practice on a sitting meditation, in a walking meditation, is not enough. Exactly, habits are rooted in our everyday activities, in our habits. So this is where we should practice, and this is where we should detach. Final detachment brings us to Nibbana, because Nibbana is free from any arising. So our attachments are attachments to arising, attachments to wrong understanding, attachments to objects, attachments to someone and something, and attachments to the ideas how it should be. If we practice in everyday activities, then we will be able to take out with the roots those habits and those attachments. I'm coming to see a gardener in my lay life, and here I found these beds. Very nice to explore. And just to finalize the topic, I should also tell that Sayadaw is telling us that scientists insist that a human being needs about 8 hours to have healthy life. Although this is also an attachment to the idea that it should be like that, and then if we have less time to sleep, less than 8 hours, then we suffer and we get sick and we get nervous. But this is because of that idea. So once again, we should remove all ideas, all attachments from our mind. We should be free from any ideas, and we should act naturally. The way that Sayadaw does is that he does unintentionally. He tends to fall asleep sometimes during Dhamma talks. We can see that, we can experience that, because the nature overtakes the nature of this physical body. But if we practice mindfulness with detachment, before you fall asleep, you use the sleepiness as the main object of meditation. Sleepiness becomes more and more obvious. This object of meditation, of mindfulness, becomes more and more evident. So we take this object instead of any other objects that we observe naturally. And we do it with detachment, once again, not to attach, to be free from. As much as we can, we practice. And then if sleepiness as natural phenomena overtakes, then naturally we fall asleep. In this way, Sayadaw functions pretty well, and he doesn't need to sleep by hours. He doesn't need to function by schedule. We are doing for all. Schedules do for a restricted, planned organization or individual or someone. We try to remove the concept of someone from our minds. What else was there? So a few years ago, like maybe 7 years ago, we used to practice, let's say, intentional not sleeping at night. We would stay alone to meditate and discuss Dhamma and ask questions. And some people could fall asleep, then they would wake up and they would adjust for what was going on. One would wake up, the other would fall asleep, the other would wake up, and in that manner we could pass nights. We would stay up nights, one night after another. We did it to intentionally practice detachment from sleeping. But Sayadaw is a great explorer of life, is a great explorer of life experiences. As he is free from life, he tries to understand the life in all different forms and shapes and representations, so to be able to help to others. So he continues to explore and continues to see how attachment works, to be able to help to others. So, but mainly lately, last years, he does more and more naturally, not forcefully, not intentionally. And this is how he teaches us to do in the middle way, with doing only, knowing that nothing is real, but just using, because we still, with ignorance and attachment, we take it as real, so we use it, we don't reject. But we should keep the right understanding in our mind that everything is just the impermanent nature. And we don't go against the impermanent nature, we just flow with it. We ourselves try to represent the impermanent nature. And another practice he used to take maybe like 5 years ago already, that during about 4 years he practiced detachment from solid foods. He used to take only liquid food, because he understood that there is, even though we take in food, we take enough vitamins, we take the nourishment, still we feel dissatisfaction and craving for chewing. So he was detaching from chewing. And as his followers, as the followers of somebody who doesn't do intentionally, we are free to do like him or not to do like him. We are free to do within our limits and trying to come out of those limits. So we are free to practice like that or not, whoever choose. But we see his example and we know and learn from Sayadaw.